Yeah, I'm just sharing it for right now. I'm trying to get this up. What's up, Pisces? What are you doing, Ooh. What's up, Bomb Squad? What's up, Bomb Squad? Today is Saturday. Happy Saturday to everybody up in the live stream, even for the people for the replay. Today is Saturday. It's a nice day outside. I've been outside all day. You know that? I've been outside all day. And I want to get Real Talk started early so we can get this out the way so I can chill for the rest of the day. But I couldn't leave without Real Talk. Make sure you hit the like button, share, and subscribe. Hit the like button, share, and subscribe. And for the new people or somebody that didn't see us, I am DC KOOLAID, and that is. I got to turn your thing on. Hold on. Turn this on so you can talk through this thing. All right. Go ahead, say something. Make sure it ain't feedback.
Can you hear me?
Okay. Cool. You good.
Hey, yeah.
Anyway, we here because we normally do Real Talk each and every Saturday. Normally we do interviews with people. We not, we didn't interview nobody this week, but I'm looking into getting somebody in the next couple of weeks. Meantime, we like to keep Real Talk going and talk about real things, real life things that happen each and every day. Not just because And it always don't have to be bad. It can be good. But sometimes when we do real talk, we do real talk. So so other people can hear what we're talking about that might be related to what they're going through. And sometimes it helps you guys out if you're going through it and didn't realize you're going through it. So that's what real talk is always about. And if you got something you want us to talk about, a topic, you can send us an anonymous email to dckoolaid17 at yahoo.com, or you can just send it to our P.O. box, which is in the description. So either way, you can send it that way if you have a topic, or if you don't mind, just you want to share the topic publicly, you can do that also. Today we're going to be talking about parenting. Parenting. So that's what we're talking about today, because a lot of people don't realize they had these kids and they really not parenting their children. So let me give you a scenario of a couple scenarios that's real life things that actually happened and that was brought to our attention to talk about today. So like I said, if you got something to talk about, just let us know. In the description, P.O. box in the description. You can remain anonymous, or you can send your name, or however you want to get it to us. But this topic was brought to us in reference to parenting. And what's crazy about it was two different people, two different times, but two different scenarios. So the first one, let's talk about that one. You have a kid, you have a couple of kids by different daddies or whatever the case is, which don't make no difference. It's just you as the parent have three kids, and you want to do the things you normally been doing all your life before you had these kids. So if you have three kids and you're not doing what you're supposed to do because you want to run the streets and have fun and party and do all those things that you were doing before you had the kids, it's crazy. Because think about it. The oldest kid is no older than, let's say, 10, maybe 10, 9 years old. And then you have younger ones, too. You know, if that was 9 or 10, then you have like what, little ones?
You got two elementary school kids and a toddler.
There you go. So
Pick them ages out,
she wants to run the streets and have fun, and she want to do stuff. So she leaves the daughter, which is the 9 or 10-year-old one, to monitor the toddler. How do you leave your elementary child to parent, might as well say, the toddler, because you're never there? I don't know if they work. I think they work. I don't know.
Even when you are, it's not about not being there. You can be there physically, but not.
She has an elementary child watching the toddler 24/7, might as well say, because she want to whip and run and do her thing and act like she don't have no kids. And then, she's there, but really not there, because then she's there on the phone doing her own thing, and the kids are on their own doing their own thing. So that's what we're saying about parenting. That's one scenario. The other scenario, the other one wants to run around and do their thing and not be there for the kid and throw the kid at the grandma's all the time. And when you're supposed to have your turn to have your kid, your kid ain't with you because your kid is with grandma because you want to whip and run and do the things you want to do in your life. And then the other parent lives on the other side of the world.
Ain't Miss Tell's truth?
Doing her thing. So when do you start parenting your child? You know what I'm saying? So that's the two scenarios. You got the elementary child watching the toddler, and then you got the other one whipping and running doing their thing, and the mother lives there and the father lives there, but they throw the baby at the grandparent. So when do you have time to parent your child. So when does that start?
It may never start.
I'm gonna put the link in the I'm gonna put the link in the chat if you want to get on the panel because you might know someone going through this same thing, and it's crazy because it's like, how do you not parent your kid? What if something happened to that toddler while the elementary kid there? What if something happens? What is you teaching? What are you teaching that elementary child? That's the question. Go ahead, babe.
Both scenarios are basically the same. Just in one, you're talking about the mom, and in one, you're talking about the dad. But the reality is, it's both the same. Just because you can get pregnant, just because you can get someone pregnant, does not mean that you are ready to be a parent. It does not mean you ever want to be a parent. And that's where, when we start asking these questions and start having these discussions, that's where we have to start. That's where we have to start from. Children are a blessing. Their birth is a miracle, yada, yada, yada. This is all true. But the reality is, if you as a person, parent, mother or father, I'm not picking on anybody, if you as a person don't say in your head that I want my kid, I want my kid, this is my kid, I want my kid, then all that other stuff doesn't matter. Y'all know I'm very open when I talk about my journey to motherhood because it started late. I was 37. And when I first found out I was pregnant, that was the worst news I could have gotten. To me, anyway. I was in denial and I wanted anything but a baby. But when I heard the heartbeat and I realized that this is going to happen, in my head, I got to do whatever it takes to make sure this child has at least what I had growing up. We always say we want our kids to have more than we had growing up. We always say that I want to give my kids the life I didn't have. Hey, ATL Shorty.
Yeah, good.
But that's not true. I had a good life growing up. I had everything I wanted. I went to private school. I wanted in my head. I made the decision that regardless of whether or not the other parent was in this equation, that I was going to be this my baby. Once I made the decision that this my kid, it was a done deal. I was going to do whatever I had to do, move whatever mountain I had to move, change whatever scenery I had to change whatever generational curses that I didn't want to happen to my kid that happened to me, and do what I had to do. Daddy sperm donor be damned. It is what it is. Everybody's not like that, and that's what we got to wrap our head around. Most pregnancies are accidents. They are surprises. You know how many women I have heard talk about they took their pill faithfully. My cousin took her pill faithfully. Her husband wore a condom because for her to get pregnant and have a baby, it would have been detrimental. It would have been a very hard pregnancy for her. And it was. She had two of them on the pill with a condom. So babies gonna come. Babies are sometimes planned, but oftentimes accidents. And that's in a two-parent household, in a mama household, in a daddy household. It is what it is. When those little lines pop up on that little stick, and the new one, when the words pop up on there, It's a surprise. And you can read 1,000 books. Hey, T. And you can read 1,000 books, and you can look at all the YouTube videos, and you can ask all the questions of the elders of the family. But the reality is, each and every pregnancy in this world is unique to the person that is pregnant. Each and every raising of a child is unique to the person that is raising that child. And if the person that is raising that child doesn't want to be a parent, never wanted to be a parent, you have to understand that is going to show through in their parenting. And we got to make we got to make our peace with that. We have to make our peace with that. When somebody doesn't raise their child the way you think they should, that ain't got nothing to do with you. When and you can talk to you blue in the face, but sometimes that's what you need to do. To the two scenarios, both scenarios need somebody to sit them down and let them understand that there are consequences to your actions. There are consequences to your good times. There are consequences to your orgasms. There are consequences. Sex is cool and all, but shit can happen after you get through when you walk around.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times it's babies. If you see somebody, if you see your child, if you see your sister, if you see your best friend, if you see your home girl, gentlemen, flip that around and do that with your talk to them. Let them know that I understand that you didn't want this kid, but it's here, and you got to do the best you can by it. Because if not, you're going to be the cause of the problems that come along. It just is what it is. Kids go looking for what they're lacking. They don't even know they're doing it. Kids, hey,
What's up, TC?
kids
What's up,
go
TA?
looking.
Leilani?
Hear me what I'm saying. Kids go looking for what they're lacking. Mama's little girl, mama's little boy, daddy's little girl. That's true. But a little girl will look for what she wants from her mama.
Mm-hmm.
A little boy will look for what he wants from his daddy. And if you're not giving it to them, they will look elsewhere. And trust me when I tell you, there are people out there waiting for your babies to start looking for the things you're not giving them. There are people right now waiting for your little girl just to feel this much better about herself, for your little girl to not have that pedestal that you feel. When you have kids, your child, regardless or not, should be the best thing smoking, the most beautiful, the smartest, the this, the this. Now you need to know your baby, and you need to understand. I don't like the whole I don't like the whole Nick would never do that. No, Nick will do some stuff. But at the end of the day, to me, he is still as bright and shiny as the day he came out. If you don't make your kids feel so good about themselves, they will find somebody to do that for them. Definitely been both mother and father to my children. You know what, ATL, I get that. When one parent is gone, you try to make up for it. I did. Nick didn't know I was broke growing up. Nick didn't know none of that. All he knew was every time I came in the house, I bought him something. All he knew was he had the clothes he wanted, the shoes he wanted. He was little, it wasn't that much. He didn't know the stuff going on behind the scenes. He didn't know how on the outside, you know how you see a duck swimming and you think the duck is just sitting there floating. He's not. On the top he come, but them little feet pedaling. He didn't see the pedaling. He didn't see the crying. He didn't see the late nights. He didn't see none of that. And it wasn't because I didn't want to give him an actual factual representation of what's going to happen as you grow up. It was just because as a child, he didn't need to see that. You are a child for such a short period of time in your life. And especially in 2022, kids are getting older every day. Kids are being presented with situations and environments and things that no child when I was raised, when I was growing up, we didn't worry about somebody coming in and shooting up the school. You know, we used to have tornado drills where you cover your head and got up under your desk. That's what we had. I went to high school in Atlanta, Georgia, and in Atlanta, Georgia, in 1985, there was one shooting of somebody in high school, and all the high schools that was in Atlanta. I'm sure there were others, but I only heard about one.
Mm-hmm.
These kids are growing up fast, and they're being presented with things that we didn't have to deal with. They're being presented with life and death situations. We didn't have to deal with that. We didn't have to deal with that. We might have read a book that had people dying. It wasn't reality.
My thing is how you have one kid, then you have another kid, then you have another kid, and you don't even be there.
Because it's
And
easy to
it's
get pregnant.
like you have all these kids and you're not really parenting them. You're not nurturing them. Yeah, you might feed them, make sure they go to school or whatever, but you're not, you know what I'm saying? You're not there.
Because it's easy to get pregnant. It's easy. All you have to do, let me tell you something, it's sex and the right time of day. That's it. It's no special miracle. It's no potion. It's sex and the right time of day. However, even in today's society, and y'all know I'm telling the truth, even in today's society, nobody thinks about the future and the long-term repercussions of anything that they do. Nobody thinks that I'm gonna get pregnant when I'm in the middle of having this fun with this girl or with this man and this woman. Nobody's just sitting up there pondering the thoughts of pregnancy, especially if it's not their boyfriend or their girlfriend or their husband or their wife. All you thinking about is momentary satisfaction that you two can have, and then you going about your day. Or you want this person so badly, you're willing to do anything to keep them.
Mm-hmm.
So up pop a baby.
Yeah, but
Because he
see,
has to love me. She has to want me. She has to love me. He has to want me. That's it. The end of and this is not new. My mama had 3 baby daddies. This ain't new.
mm-hmm.
I watch more every day. More and Lauren Lake, and it is the old hoes coming to roost right now. This is not a new situation. However, the kids are not being presented with the same situations we were presented with. Hold on, let me see. Hold on. Wrong way. I was leaving Destiny's Father over 23 years ago. The day I was leaving, back then he had feeding me. I took a test and I was pregnant. All I could do was cry. Leilani said, Rand asked me, oh shoot, hold on.
Real.
Rand asked me, why do some teenage girls want to have babies? Her friend said they did. And I told her so many girls want someone to love and to love them because they aren't getting it at home. Like I said, they're gonna go look for it. If they're not feeling that motherly love, because kids want that with and I don't know if it's 100% certain, but I know that Mothers are the nurturers, the hugs and the kisses and the ahs and the oohs.
Mhm.
Dads are the protectors and you know, the fun and the I know my dad gonna be there. Ain't nobody gonna do nothing because my dad will beat him up. You want that.
Mhm.
And if nobody teaches you, you look for it, but in the wrong places.
I
Just
was
being
looking
caught
at
up in the moment.
I was looking at this thing just before I went live streaming on here. It was a teenager. She was like 18 years old. But this how it started. You know how people go dumpster diving? It was a group of people, and it was caught on camera. They were going dumpster diving at JCPenney back in January this year. And when they was dumpster diving, they came across a baby boy, and he still had the umbilical cord on there and everything. And they called 911. They get the people came out there and everything, and everything. So since they saw that on camera, the law enforcement, I thought about the TV show you be watching. And this real life, this happened in Texas. They went back a couple of hours on that camera, that same camera that the dumpsters dive where people were there, and they caught the girl in the car, tossed the bag in like it was trash, you
Which
know.
her was.
And then hold on, so they found her because, of course, a license plate, and she was 18 years old and didn't tell nobody she was pregnant, and she didn't want nobody to know. So she thought because since nobody knew, she just get rid of it and everything. Anyway, she had got locked up, and she can't do this and that. She on house arrest or something. Only can go to school. And the baby did survive. And now the parents, her parents are in the process. That was then getting in custody of the baby, but that was just crazy.
On that, what I'm about to say is very unpopular. Well, not very, but it can be unpopular. We don't teach our children about their options when it comes to pregnancy. We do not teach our children that. We just assume, number one, when we tell our children to not have sex, they're not going to have sex. I don't know why. It doesn't work for anything. Telling your children no doesn't work for anything.
Hmm.
So, one, that's what we teach them. Two, we bring God into the situation. They're going to go now, depending upon the spirituality and the Christianity and the religion in your home, because every religion is different. And I'm not speaking upon those I don't know of, but I do know. Hey, Tammy,
Hey,
but I
Tammy
do
Petty.
know that if you live in a very strictly highly religious family and house, there's a lot of you going to hell and yeah, we do not teach our daughters that they have options that they can pursue. We do not give our daughters real world information when they are old enough to be, because realistically what I think of is old enough to have sex, 16, 17, 18. That's just me being optimistic. These kids are having sex at 12, 13, and 14.
Hmm.
And now with the Supreme Court letter and the world being as it is, and the there are going to be a lot more babies in trash cans. There are going to be a lot more little girls pushing out babies at proms and under the bleachers at school because number one, they can't talk to their parents. That's number one, because their parents have sold them a bill of goods about Christianity and religion as opposed to telling them what's going to happen. If you have sex, baby, you can get pregnant. If you get pregnant, you're gonna be somebody's mama.
Hmm.
You won't be going to prom. You won't be going to the games. You won't be going to the clubs when you get older. You may not be going to college. Hell, depending upon where you are, you might not make it out of high school. We are not giving our children real world information so they can deal with the real world. We're giving our children the shit you see on TV. And we're hoping that it works out. I grew up with a woman who had worked in the medical field her entire adult life, but was very church on Sunday, religious, God and country in the South. And my grandmother told me that if I got pregnant before a certain age, that we're going to go get that taken care of.
Mm.
And she told me that. Now, me, I knew what it meant, but I didn't know what it meant. You know what I'm saying? I knew what it meant, but I didn't know what it meant. As I got older, I understood what she meant. And I was like, and I talked to her, and she was like, let me tell you something. She said I was in the emergency room before abortions became legal, before women could go to hospitals and go to doctors and go to clinics and get the information they needed. She said I was in the emergency room when there were women coming in there bleeding to death with hangers hanging out of them because they got hooked on something trying to get rid of this baby that they got by their cousin or their brother or the little boy that jumped on them and knocked them up. And understand that a lot of the young stuff back in the day, these girls were not out seeking the sexuality because this was a very different time when my grandmother grew up and when she worked in the hospitals. So this was not a lot of just out there fancy free and footloose. These girls were brought up to believe they were not to have sex until they got married. And that if you had sex with me and you wanted to do all that, then that meant you loved me. And that meant we were going to be married. So she said, I grew up with that. She said, I saw that day after day after day after day. And if you don't think that that's going to start happening again, but that being said, even if it doesn't overturn, even if there's still safe and uh, uh, women's health available, we're not teaching our children that. We're not teaching our young men, put these condoms in your wallet. Use them each and every time. Not just because of diseases, not just because of what you can get, but what you can give. We are not teaching our young men that these women, that each one of these girls, because they're not women most of the time. These are 14, 15, 16-year-old girls and 14, 15, 16-year-old boys playing these adult games. And we're not teaching them the adult consequences. Just say no. Boys will be boys, and girls are the reason that boys are boys. We're not teaching them the reality of if you have sex, you can get pregnant. And if you get pregnant, you can be somebody's parent. That means there is no more you. There's only them. You know, I was 37 and and as soon as I said I was pregnant, I no longer existed. I was Nick's mama, even before he got here. We're not telling our kids that. We're not telling our kids, we're not giving them the information that our children need. And that is why we have so many parents. That's why we have so many young girls with 2 and 3 and 4 baby daddies. That's why we have so many young boys proudly saying they have 6, 7, and 8 kids with 5, 6, 7, 8 mamas. I take care of my kids. I see my kids. I do what I'm supposed to do with my kids. Yeah, I got kids, but I can go out too. No, you can't.
Yeah, they go out.
Somebody has got to take care of your babies.
Right. And they got
somebody has got to be there with your kids.
Which is crazy because then that's when they have the younger kid watching the younger kids.
Here's my issue. And young men, y'all about to be mad with me. Young ladies, you about to be mad, but it is what it is. The reality is the burden falls upon the mother. And that's just biology. The burden of making the baby, the burden of birthing the baby, the burden of being there in the hospital when the baby got to go home. Because guess what? The sperm donor slash boyfriend slash fiance slash baby daddy slash husband don't have to be there because he's not physically birthing no baby. So if the reality is that the burden does fall upon the mother. And ladies, my young and my old, if you are not ready to be somebody's mama, that's okay. If you are not ready to give up your freedom, that's okay. If you still need your freakum dresses, if you still need your tequila nights, if you still need all of that, that is okay. That is 100% fine. As a matter of fact, I am a proponent of doing what you're supposed to do in your 20s so that when you get older, you don't regret anything, so that you don't have to look back and go, I didn't get a chance to do nothing. You know why I have no problem sitting down? Because I did shit. I did it. Bad,
Mm-hmm.
good, and ugly. I did it. Now, the doctors told me I couldn't have kids, but there's no guarantee they was 100% true. Because, like I said, my cousin had two babies on birth control, condoms, and she had a tilted uterus, which made it even harder for her to have babies. So I know that when babies are gonna come, they's coming. People think that because you get pregnant and because you have a child, that you are automatically a parent. That a switch flips and now you are in mommy mode and nothing else matters, and that I am going to be super mom. But that's not reality. That's not reality. A lot of people don't realize the upheaval and the change in your life that a baby brings. They think if they go buy a crib and some diapers and some wipes and some formula and a pretty baby bag and a stroller, that they can just go back to doing what they wanted. No, no, no. If you go into school, young ladies, you go into school, you got to find somebody to watch your baby while you're at school. Your mom at work.
Daycare ain't
So
cheap, man.
now you got to find daycare.
Daycare ain't cheap.
So you got to find somebody to watch your baby while you're at work, while you're at school, excuse me. You thought you were going to the homecoming game. You thought you was going to the prom. No, there's
Ten-
no obligation that somebody's going to sit up there and watch your baby for you. So now, where you thought you was about to go?
All right, Tammy said, I'm so glad mines were graduate from high school and had jobs before having babies. I was a teen mom and it was not easy.
Yeah, it's not easy when you're grown. I don't know why people think that. Now I'm gonna tell you, it's easier, but it's not easy when you're grown. Daycare costs. Do you know for an infant, daycare costs up to $1,000 a week?
Crazy.
You have to. Here's the thing: you need one job to pay daycare, but you need daycare to go to that job. You need another job to pay for the bills that you needed that first job for, but that first job got to pay for daycare. So now you need the help, the assistance of the government. Single moms. And a lot of them act like they're too good to go get WIC and get on food stamps and go to Medicaid. I don't want to do that. Well, what you want to do? What? No, ma'am. 37 years old. Day after I found out I was pregnant, I was down at the WIC office, food stamp office, Medicaid, everybody. Took my letter, took my thing, went in there, put my pow. I've been working since I was 17 years old, 20 years in. You're going to give me what I have been putting this income taxes in for, sir.
Leilani said, I became a mommy at 28. From 28 on in my life, babies can't go. I can't go. It's just what it is. Red Random, what's up? She said, I was 20 when I had my first set of twins. I was there day one, cooking, cleaning, taking care of the children. I stayed home with them and got the job as I got a job at the school to make sure mine was okay. I didn't mind giving up my life to take care of my 5 children. Mine's are grown now. God is good.
Yes, it is a good program. Yes, I'm not saying, and I know it sounds like I'm saying about every person that gets pregnant when they're young, and that's not true. I have seen some excellent mothers at 16, 17, 18 because they did what I said. In their head, this is my baby. I know that prom ain't going to be the same. I know that school is not going to be the same. And a lot of them do that. They work with their mom. They still go to school. They understand that now I'm somebody's mama.
Mhm.
But that's not for everybody, and everybody don't do that. Babies and procreation and having kids is not for everybody. It's not. And just because you can get pregnant doesn't mean you're supposed to. And I'm not talking about being in a relationship. I'm not talking about the great American dream. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about reality. Sometimes babies come without a marriage license. Sometimes babies come off that one night stand of that dude that was just too fine to pass up. Sometimes one night stands come from that girl that her ass was just too good in that dress. I couldn't say no to the sundress.
Hmm.
Sometimes babies come from friends who got drunk one night and didn't think that nothing was gonna happen. But pooh, bang, here come baby. Yes, Tammy's passion. And that's what I'm talking about. We have to teach our children. Stop not talking to your kids because you think if you talk to your children that they're going to do something. They're
Mhm.
going to do something regardless. Hear me. They're going to do something regardless. They're going to listen to their little friends talking about how good sex feels. They're going to listen to their little friends talking about how they're left out because I've had sex and it wasn't that bad. They're going to go to advice to the people that are telling them the stuff they want to hear because you haven't told them the reality of what happens.
But it's just like the first thing we were talking about, the first person's incident with the child raising the toddler. That child gonna go looking for something.
I I don't guarantee because I don't ever guarantee anything. But let me tell you something. And I'm talking about little girls right now in America and shit the world. Little girls are looked at differently. They look at as sexual objects early. Because how many times have you heard or has somebody told you, ladies, or you used to hear your grandmama and your mama talk about, go put some clothes on because so and so coming to the house. Don't be running around the house in them shorts when so and so here. Stop being fast. Why you over there? Don't be walking around in front of them. Instead of not having somebody at your house who's going to look at your child as a sexual object, you tell your little girl that she has to cover up. She has to be uncomfortable in her home. She has to look out and hope and pray that the people that you allow into her home don't want to touch her and look at her in a manner that you shouldn't because she's a child. That's fucking ridiculous. Little girls right now can't go to school with tank tops on or shorts on when it's hot because, oh, the boys might get upset. The boys might look at them. The teachers, not just that, the teachers might look at them. So little girls have to go to school in 90, 100-degree weather with long sleeves on and jeans or burlap sacks and a bag over their head. I don't know what the hell they're supposed to wear to school no more. Ladies, if you have daughters and you are ignoring them, if you are making them parent your kids because you don't want to parent your kids, you're going to be a grandmother before that little girl turns 15. If you do not teach your daughter that her body is a prize, that everybody is not worthy, you're going to be a grandmother by the time she is 15. If you ignore her and think that she'll learn it and don't answer her questions and don't talk to your kids and don't tell them the reality of life, you're going to be a grandmother by the time that baby turns 15 years old. And I say 15 to be generous. There are predators outside waiting for your baby to get on a chat talking about how nobody understands her. How I'm sick of watching my sisters and my brothers and my cousins. I'm sick of babysitting. I'm 12. I'm 13. I should be out playing with my friends, but I got the responsibility of my family. Nobody listens to me. I can't talk to anybody. Does any of that sound familiar? And there are people waiting to hear that. Do you understand that I don't fathom it because it don't, just I'm old. But there are people who make up computer programs so that when words like that show up in chat rooms across and text messages and DMs, it alerts them. And lets them know that might be somebody for you to groom and you might. And for my young men, and for my little boys, my babies, you have just as much right to be emotional and to feel some kind of way as a little girl. You have just as much right to cry and to feel good and bad emotions. You know what, Brittany? First of all, you saw what Brittany said.
I know, because we told it was her.
You
lied.
First of all,
go ahead, keep talking.
Billy is ours. Y'all just borrow him every now and again. Thank you for getting him cut. Appreciate it.
Yeah, go ahead.
My young men, your emotions are valid. Your feelings are valid. Stop teaching your boys that this is gay. Stop teaching your boys that pink is for girls and blue is for boys. Stop teaching your little boys that they have to play with trucks, that they have to play football. Stop teaching your little boys that if they don't fight, they ain't a man. They're not a fucking man. They're a child. Stop telling your 14, 13, 14, 15-year-old son he a man. He ain't no damn man. Stop telling them if he likes pink. That's some sissy shit. That's some fag shit. Stop telling your sons that. Stop it. Because you're making generation after generation of hyper masculine boys that they think violence is a love language, that they don't address their feelings, that they don't understand how to be sad. They don't understand how to do, they don't understand how to be in love. because they've been told their whole life that boys can't cry, boys can't be sad, boys can't do this, boys can't do that.
Mhm.
Stop doing that. You are hindering your children like no other. You are hindering your son. A young man's feelings are valid. A young man's feelings of sadness and joy and love are valid. Pink doesn't make you gay. Dolls don't make you gay. Wanting to be in the band and not on the football team doesn't make you gay. Wanting to sing, dance, or draw instead of playing sports doesn't make you gay. Stop telling your sons that. Stop equating artistic talents with homosexuality. Stop making homosexuality a crime and a mental disorder and a disease. Stop that. Because homosexuality is not a choice. It is not something you wake up. Because trust me when I tell you, nobody would wake up and go, "Ooh, let me see what I can do so that people will hate me just because of who I love." I doubt anybody would make that choice. Cooking doesn't make you gay. Knowing how to wash your clothes don't make you gay. Knowing how to sew a hole in your pants don't make you gay. Knowing how to make up your bed and wash it and vacuum the floor and clean the bathroom doesn't make you gay. Stop making gay a punishment or a bad thing. Because you may be talking to a child that all he hears and she hears coming out of her mouth is how being gay is the worst thing ever. Might as well be a serial killer.
All right, so let's go on to the topic on the second not scenario, but what happened with the other person with your leaving your child with the grandparent.
Well, we got to make it so the grandparents got to make it so you can't do it.
Because it's like, all right, the second, for the people that just came in, we had two different things that happened and we was addressed about it. So the second one was about living their life, doing their thing, and then the mama doing her thing. So the baby is back and forth, but when it's your turn, the grandma got him.
Hey, Gloria. Well, the grandma got to start saying no.
Hey, Gloria.
You got to stop being available. You got to, and it's hard because it's your grandbaby. That's your little nunu. That's your little snoo booga 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 booga. Whatever stuff we say, we see a baby. That's your little scoop 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 boom boom boom.
The snooker booker
You
book.
scoop the boom 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 boom.
Yeah, but I just think,
You got to say no. They do. Parents who get their kids to their parents do that because their parents allow them to do it. That's just it. That's just the beginning and the end. There's no other reason, because your son or daughter knows that you will change your plans
for their grandbaby.
for your grandbaby. That's it. This particular action falls upon the grandparent. Now, I know that my grandpup is with me all the time.
Granddog.
My granddog. And I have no problem with that. And I wouldn't have no problem with the other one, the real one. But if it became so that I have to change my plans, I have to stop doing what I'm doing, I have to adjust my day, then no. What you doing Saturday? Nothing. You gonna watch the baby? Nope. Well, you said you wasn't doing nothing. That meant I'm doing nothing. Nothing includes not watching your child. And you got to stick with that. We have to do that. We have to do that. That particular aspect is 100% on the parent. Now the reality is we do that. The kids do that to us because we've done that to them before they became parents. We had their back and we boosted them up and we made sure that they didn't want for anything and that we would go out our way to make sure they was all right and they was our scoop de boop 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 boop. So that's the only reason they do it because, you know.
But how are they parenting if
They're
it's
not. They didn't want to be
listen, how are they parenting if all right, it's my week to watch the baby, but I'm gonna give the baby to grandma so I can go do my thing. So then when I come back, I got the baby for a few minutes and then I take it back to the mama house. How is that person parenting if the baby not even with you 24 hours?
because that goes back to what I was saying before. The two scenarios with the mama and the daddy, they're interconnected. Because just because you have kids don't mean you want to be a parent. You have to know in your head that there are some days I'm not going to be able to go hang out with my friends. I'm not going to be able to take this extra shift at my job. I'm not going to be able to get a job that I got to be there at 7 o'clock in the morning. You have to know that when you have kids, you adjust your life. You don't adjust other people's lives. You adjust your life. You the one laid down. You the one that had the egg or had the sperm and made the baby. One of y'all, and it ain't got to do with me. I'm supposed to grandparent. I ain't supposed to parent. I'm done. I'm done. Y'all know I'm done. Nick about to be a senior high school. Hey, I'm done with the parent. I mean, I'm still here for the parenting thing, but I'm done.
Red said, my son and his wife just had a daughter 3 days ago. They already have twin boys and they call me all the time and they be busy.
Well, here's the thing. Mama, daddy, listen, let me tell y'all something. Even in a marriage situation, if you are not ready for the next set of kids, don't have them. Being married and being within the marriage covenant does not give you free reign willy-nilly to keep having babies. If you're not ready to have, if you got one and you're not ready to have two, three, four, don't have two, three, four yet till you're ready to have two, three, four. Because that's the same situation in the marriage, outside of a marriage, whatever. It's the same situation.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not ready to parent, don't become a parent. If you're not ready to adjust your life dramatically, don't become a parent. If you're not ready to give up your sleeping late, going to bed late, hanging out at the club, getting drunk, getting high, working 70 hours a week, working, going to school, going out, if you're not ready to give all that up, don't become a parent. Don't do it. I don't care if you're married. I don't care if you're single. I don't care if y'all been together 30 years. If you are not ready to change your life, just yours and mama, daddy, them two, that's it. Then don't become a parent. Don't become a parent. Don't. In the equation to when you thinking about in your mind and you're processing the fact that you're about to become a parent, your mama, your daddy, your parents shouldn't come into that factor. Because we supposed to be grandparents. We supposed to get the children high on sugar, buy them shit they don't need, and send them off to their parents.
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to be worried about whether or not my baby's hair ain't getting combed, or she don't have clothes, or one of my grandbaby raising the other kids when the mama ain't right. I'm not supposed to be worried about none of that shit. If you do not want to be a parent, that is fine. If you never want to have kids, if you never ever want to have kids, that is 100% fine. Ladies, if you never want to birth a baby, that is fine. Gentlemen, if you never want somebody to carry on your name, that is fine. I prefer you to be like that as long as you can, because when it's time to do it, you got to be ready to change your life. My kid changed my life. I couldn't hope he would change somebody else's. Now I gotta hope that people will help me along the way. My sister and my mama helped me dramatically along the way.
Same
But he
here.
changed my life. And I had to do that because I was all he had.
Mm-hmm.
In my head, I was all he had. And I was gonna do my damnedest to make sure he didn't feel like I was all he had. There's nothing wrong if you don't want to be parents. There's nothing wrong if you don't want to have kids. But if you do it, you got to do it. Parenting is in or out. You can't straddle the fence. You can't hang on the side of the basket. You can't sit there and have one foot in not being a parent and one foot in being a parent. You either a parent or you not. Period. There's no middle ground. There's no fucking gray area. It's black and white. Not parent. That's it. That's it. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. It is that simple in both scenarios. The simplicity is that if you don't want kids, don't have them. And if you're going to have them, be a parent, period. That's it. That's it. And I said it before, and I said it before, and I'll say it again. Ladies, stop having babies to get a man. Stop having babies to hope that that man will love you. Stop having babies to have somebody to love you. Learn to love yourself. Stop having all these kids over here because you feel like you didn't get some kind of love. Cool. Learn to love yourself. Get in a position to where nobody can love you more than you, and then think about having a baby. Because if you don't love you, you can't teach your child to love themselves. You can't love your child the way a child needs to be loved. If you are looking for love in a child doesn't come with love. A
Mm-hmm.
child comes with disruption to your life. A child comes with a dramatic upheaval in your body. Child don't come with love. That's what you give. Stop having these babies for men. Stop having these babies for love. Go buy you a dog, $75 down at the damn pound. Get you a puppy and carry your ass on. Men, you are not manly because you got 5 baby mamas. You are not that dude because you got a girl every night. You are not the man because you got 2 little boys named Junior because you got 2 little boys at the same time by 2 different women. You are not the man. And it makes y'all, let me tell y'all something. Let me tell y'all something. It makes y'all look worse to get these damn kids here and don't be their parents than if you wouldn't have had them in the first place. If you would have, I'm a proponent for adoption because there are millions of people out there that cannot have kids. So if that was the route you wanted to go, do that. I'm also a proponent for choice. Ladies, if you do not want to have these babies, you are not ready to be their mom. You are not ready to change your life. You are not ready to understand that this man did not want you. Why the hell would you think he would want this baby? You need to know your choices and think about them logically and rationally, not because you want some love or because he won't love me now. Maybe he'll love us. No. He won't love us. He will leave us. And you'll be sitting over there crying. And a year later, you'll have another man around your baby. That's why we have so many of them problems now. That's why we have so many children being killed by their mama's boyfriends and sometimes girlfriends. Because you sitting up there thinking that babies are the answer to your prayers when it comes to somebody loving you. Every time I go down my timeline on Facebook or I see a news feed on some other action, I see some mama and some damn ragged ass man sitting over there in mug shots because they done killed the baby because he didn't like the fact that the baby was crying, or he didn't like the fact that the baby touched his controller, or he didn't like the fact that the baby peed in the bed. But this 1 year old, this toddler, this 9 month old wasn't his. Stop having these babies if you don't have the backup to take care of these babies. You have choices, you have options. Exercise them. Stop bringing these babies into the world thinking magically, if I just had this baby, if it just looks like him, he'll love me. If I can just get her pregnant, if I can just get her pregnant, she won't leave me. No other man will ever have her. Stop that shit. Because that's why so many babies running around here without love from their parents, because their parents was using them to get a man or a woman. Not because, oops, I got pregnant, or shit, I'm somebody's mama. The only thing you supposed to think about when you pregnant or when you done found out somebody about to have your baby is, ooh, I'm somebody's mama. Ooh, I'm somebody's daddy. Period. Point blank. End of discussion. That is it. Oh yeah. Hold on. Yeah, Red. Yes, he was on Oprah. I think he was on Maury too, because it started out with 26, and now it's 33. Because one judge told him he was gonna have his tube tied or whatever, snip. Yeah, he was giving out. He had child support orders on them kids. At one point, the one she's talking about, he was 26 years old. He had started having kids when he was 15 or 16. He was giving out 25-cent checks, dollar child support checks for all these kids he got.
That's crazy.
And somebody, but here lies the problem. He was known in the area. So who would have went? Who was the second baby mama? Forget that, because you can skip up a couple times. Who was baby mama number 5?
Hmm.
Who was baby mama number 10? Who was baby mama number 15? Who was baby mama 20? Let me tell you something. Nobody can do to you what you don't let them do. When you're an adult and you grown, he knocked them up because they let him do it. Because ain't no goddamn way Speedy sperm over there would be anywhere near me. Boy, ain't you the one with all the boy? If you don't get your ass out my no, don't even talk to me. Shit, your phone line fertile. Nope, don't even talk to me. No. And then the women would just, well, he was my boyfriend, but he was my boyfriend. But she wasn't none of y'all boyfriend. He was y'all sperm donor. He was slinging out sperm like they throw beads of goddamn Mardi Gras. And all these little bitches was catching. Yep. And I'm making jokes and shit, but the reality is that in situations, in 99% of situations with unplanned pregnancies, both of y'all was at fault. Oh yeah, he had. I think some of the other baby mamas came later on, but them first 15, they was all in the same area. Them first ones, when he started coming out, he was 26. When I first heard, and I think he had 20 kids or something. Them first 3 baby mamas was all in the same area. Them last few probably was all over. But yeah. I'm not holding the man more responsible than I'm holding you ladies. Because let me tell you something, ladies. Let me tell you some good stuff. We hold the power. We know whether or not they're gonna get some coochie. They don't know. They can assume. They think because they buy us dinner or we have a nice date or even we do a little kissing and hugging, they can assume we the only one know whether or not they're gonna get laid that night. So we gotta bear that responsibility, that weight, and these babies we bring into this world. If you cannot take care of your children, and I'm not talking about financially, not just financially, that too. If you are not in a state of mind to be somebody's mama, if you are not in the state of mind that your heart now walks outside of your body, if you are not in a state of mind that your life is about to change, that you're going to have to get good with eating the leftovers that your baby leaves. I used to couldn't stand having a shirt that had a stain on it. I used to couldn't stand it. I would have a shirt that had a stain on it that only I could see. I would change the shirt. If my sheet looked like it wanted to be crunchy, I was changing sheets. I didn't give a shit. It was 2 days after I put them on there. After I had Nick, oh, that's about it, bad. If you are not ready to be mommy, if you are not ready to be daddy, that's okay. Don't do it. And if by chance you should so happen to get pregnant, and just by chance you should so happen to get somebody pregnant, you the ones got to take care of your kids. Stop giving your kids to your other kids. Stop giving your kids to your best friend. Stop giving your kids to your mama because your mama raised you. We tired. Do you know how much we was looking forward to getting your ass out the house? And not for real, because they ain't gotta go nowhere. But I mean, I give him freedom now, but I still call and stalk him on the little thing. We got 360 and I'm still seeing where he at and texting him. I'm still doing stuff. But and I don't know when I'm gonna stop. But there'll be a time when I look at my son and it's no longer a little boy and I see the man and I know I've done my job. That I'm just here for whatever he needs moving forward. I have raised my man. Now, could it be 18, 21? Shit, it might be 25. But when we get through with y'all, don't bring no children over here. Because you will see just how often we can find something to do. But the sad part about it is the reason we don't do that, and I say all that shit, but the reason we is because look at our babies and we can't do that. And we can't do it, even though we have to. If you're not ready to be a parent, don't be a parent. If you're looking for love, don't have a baby. If you're looking for somebody to love you, don't have a baby. If you're not ready to give up what you do outside of your house, don't have a baby. Nick, tell him I'm on, ask him what he wants. You hear me? Text Nick, see what he wants.
Okay.
Uh, don't have a baby. Right now, my son calling me right now. And in fact, I almost answered. Even though I'm on the phone talking to y'all. I almost answered. That's me and a parent. And he upstairs, so I know he ain't hurt. It hurt my heart to hit the client. If you're not ready to have a baby, don't have one. It's all right. Oh, no, I don't want. Ooh, get your lemonade, babe. Ooh, tell me I want a sweet tea. Yes, Miss tells the truth. I felt some kind of way declining. That's what I'm talking about being a parent. Felt some kind of way declining his call. I feel like I should never do that. It's okay not to want to have kids. It's okay to want to be young, footloose, and fancy free as long as you can possibly be that. Cause trust me, when them aches and pains kick in, when that old age kick in, when you start sounding like your mama and your daddy, you will sit up there and be super mad that you didn't do none of your fun young people shit. So I really want kids, young people to be young and footloose and fancy free and kidless for as long as they possibly can. I do. I really do. But that don't happen.
Okay. On my input on as far as like the grandparent part, I think it's okay,
I'm gonna go out camera for a second. I gotta blow my nose.
I think it's okay, when you have your grandbabies or whatever the case is. I think the issue is misusing the time that you just drop your kid off, or you assume that you have time. They assume you have time to watch the grandbaby, because I believe grandparents, they want to see their grandbabies. They don't mind seeing having their grandbabies there. It just, when as a parent, don't abuse your parents to watch your child because you want to do this and that and this and that all the time. You know what I'm saying? I think if you just, you do it every now and then and you showing you doing what you're supposed to do, it wouldn't be a problem. But you have people out there don't even spend time with their kids because they dump them on their parents when it's their turn to actually take care of their own child, because the child is living in separate homes. So I think the issue more or less, if the your child more or less don't abuse that, because you the grandma and the granddad, you supposed to watch their kid all the time because they want to do what they want to do. You know what I'm saying?
Grandparents are supposed to be able to ask for the grandkids to come.
Right,
Right. Where my baby? I'm not supposed to be sitting up telling you come get your baby.
right.
As a grandparent, I should never have to say that.
Yeah,
As a grandparent, I should never have to say that.
I just think, some people just abuse it. That's all.
Right. But as a grandparent, you and me should never have to say, come get your baby.
Like this, for instance, if my child, all right, say my child right now, and the other parent is live across the way, and it's my week to have my baby. I'm gonna spend time with my baby. I mean, I'm not gonna rip and run every time it's my time and throw the baby on my mom, the grandma. I'm not gonna do that, because that's when it comes. It's just not right. It's like, when do you spend time with your kid if the kid is with the grandma? So now the child is learning. I'm with grandma all the time. I see daddy, but I don't see grandma. I see grandma all the time. I see mommy, but then once I leave mommy, I'm going to daddy, but daddy doing his thing, and I'm with grandma all the time. It's not right. When it comes to parenting, it's like, when are you parenting? The little bit of time you there, what are you doing?
Parenting is not an exact science. It's not like there's any set rules to this game. Everybody's style is different. Because everybody is different. But the one thing across the board, mothers and fathers alike have to start realizing is that if you are not ready to become an us or a we, you're not ready to become a parent. If you're not ready to say no to your friends and your family, you're not ready to become a parent. If you're not ready to give up in the beginning vacations and hanging out and going to the mall and all this extra money that you have, if you're not ready to give up your lifestyle, you're not ready to become a parent.
Right.
And it sounds like I'm telling you should do all that. No, I'm not. I'm telling you, if you don't want to, then that's cool. But don't become a parent. Because the reality is, you're not going to suffer. You're not going to suffer if you're not parenting your kids. And grandparents, we're not really suffering. We aggravated, but we ain't suffering.
Hey, Leilani, I get what you're saying, because when we were growing up, it's four of us, but before my little brother came along, it was just us three. But I get what you're saying, because my parents, they raised us all, we didn't go anywhere. We were with them 24/7. So then we used to go to the grandparents' house down Louisiana from DC to the Louisiana for the summer, and that'd be their break. See, that's different. But what you're saying, that's different. Is what I'm saying is kids be just dropped off because you constantly doing stuff and you're not even spending time with your kids. That's what I'm talking about. But that right there is that's cool. Your kids can go for a spring break or a break, but it ain't like you dumping your child on your mom and dad because you want to do this and that and this and that. Just as well as the first incident with the child watching the toddler because you want to run around and do your little hoeing stuff, what you do. you know.
Sound like an old man just then. You want to run around doing your little whole stuff. Now I don't understand.
I mean, that's what they doing because what else
It
they
was
do?
just funny. It wasn't bad. You wasn't lying. It was just funny the way you said it.
I mean,
You run around with your little whole stuff now. Look at him.
that's what it is because it's like, come on
It's
now.
not necessarily whole stuff. It is what
They want
okay, whole
club
stuff.
and out
But it's
drinking,
not whole stuff. It's just young
partying.
stuff. Just young stuff.
So anyway,
Yeah, you're right, but it was just funny. Again, you was not wrong. I was not saying you was lying. I was laughing at how she said.
that's what they do.
You
It's
said
like,
you said like somebody old great granddaddy sitting on the porch chewing on something, going, look at that doing all that whole stuff. Look at that. Look at that.
see, because when I was raising Brittany by myself, I mean, I had exes that came along, but majority of the time I was raising her by myself, and I worked, and she went to, grandma's, during the day, and I pick her up. So that don't mean I'm gonna be like, here, mom, take her again so I can go hang out. My mom be like, well, let her, or my sister be like, let her come out. You go ahead and do your thing. But I didn't constantly dump my child on them. Nah.
It takes a village. Because that's what Leilani is saying. It takes a village. Takes a village.
Mm-hmm.
Depending upon where you were raised and the atmosphere, some families are always interconnected. The grandparents, the parents, the grandbabies. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about when, like Leilani's situation, all y'all lived around each other. So the kids got off the bus, they go to grandfather's house, do what they want to do. That's the village raising your kids. That's probably some shit we need to get back to. We're not talking about that. What we're talking about is that if it's your weekend, if it's your day, if it's yours. You're not, this your day. I'm not going to change my plans. Well, I got to do this. Well, you should have thought about that before you got the fucking. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
You should have thought about that. Well, I gotta go here. Well, don't you gotta call me?
I think it's just more the newer generation now. You know what I'm saying?
I know my mom was like that because I ain't gonna say that. I'm just saying it's televised.
I mean,
It's televised.
it's,
What now is televised because I'm telling y'all some. Now y'all know because we about to get off here in a second. So now I'm about to be funny. Y'all watch Maury. Y'all watch Lauren Lake. Y'all see all them old hoes coming to roost on there, bringing Rufus and Jerome and Johnny and Buford up there talking about well I don't know which one it was. So they was doing it back in the day.
mm.
Oh, they was doing it. But it just wasn't no social media. It wasn't no Facebook. It wasn't no internet.
Right.
It wasn't a way, it wasn't hell. It wasn't even no damn cell phone with a camera.
You couldn't catch nothing.
Think about the shit we used to do, baby. I'm looking at you. Think about the shit we used to do.
I ain't do nothing.
I ain't gonna lie, because I feel like that lie would bring lightning into the house. I'm not about to lie and say I ain't did shit. I'm just gonna tell the truth and say I am very glad that there was no evidence left. And then I didn't have 2, 3, 4 babies with 2, 3, 4 folks. So that's all I'm saying.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm sure you do. But it is what it is.
I don't know what
I mean, because we're so serious about this, but at the end of the day, y'all, parents, my parents, my generation, the grandparents, talk to your kids. Talk to your kids. Let your kids understand their consequences to their actions, and you're not their savior. Let your kids understand that one moment of pleasure can give you a whole lifetime of diapers, wipes, formula, money, school, books, grade school. I mean, what is it? Elementary school, middle school, high school, sometimes college, grown ups. 30 seconds of can give you a whole lifetime of some bullshit.
Did you say it like that? But it's true.
Tell your kids, tell them, stop telling your daughters that thoughts and prayers are going to help them through this time. Stop telling your daughters that they can pray away the baby. That this is what what God meant. God meant me to tell you the truth. First of all, why are you having sex? You ain't ready. Hell, I ain't ready. Tell your children facts. Give them facts. Give them every bit of information and knowledge and weaponry they can to go into this world. We cannot tell our babies about the birds and the bees no more. We cannot sit there and tell our babies what happened back in the day. We cannot sit up there and tell our babies about Leave It to Beaver and the Brady Bunch. We cannot do that. We got to tell our babies about the reality of the internet and what will happen. We got to tell our babies about what happens if you get pregnant, what's going to happen for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
We got to make so our babies are not scared to come talk to us and tell us what is going on.
And I also think even, I mean, what she's saying is some facts. She's speaking facts, but also if you had siblings or you related or you're a friend, and like we was talking about the first person, you might need to go and talk to that person. You ain't trying to tell them how to raise their kids, but tell them what the repercussions that might can happen in the long run, leaving your child babysitting the toddlers, or not even that, or the other topic, what can happen to your child not knowing. You know what I'm saying? Go to him, talk to him as an adult. They're an adult. You see what's going on. Let them know what you're doing is wrong. Leaving that child there with those babies, like with that baby right there. You raising your child to look for something later on in life. Sometimes you have to talk to them. They might not like it, but sometimes they might have to hear it. So that's all I got to say on that note. You got to let them hear it.
People do what they're allowed to do. If you allow your kids to drop they babies off at your house every weekend and every afternoon, and you see your grandbaby more than they do, that's on you. It'll be on me if I do it. It comes us as grandparents, we have to put our foot down. And it's hard because we don't want to put our foot down on our kids, not just our grandkids. We don't want to be mean to our kids. Well, not all the time. Sometimes we want to be mean to them, but not all the time.
I had to hit the
No, I mean, I don't want to be mean to my kids. I don't. I don't want to tell. I don't ever want to. I know I have to tell Nick no, but I don't ever want to. It's not like I'm sitting up there going, "Let me see what I can tell him no about today." I don't never want to tell him no. I know I have to tell him no. I know I have to give him boundaries and have to set up rules and regulations, but I never want to. I just have to. So when I say being mean, I don't want to tell you no. I can't keep watching them. You got to do better. But if I have to, I will. Because this is your responsibility. Just like you was my responsibility, this is yours.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't give my grandchild what their parents can. I can't give my grandbaby what their mama can. I can't give my grandbaby what their daddy can. I just can't. That's a different type of love. That's a different level of love. I can't do it. And if your babies are constantly missing out on the love they want from you, it's not even going to be a substitute because mine is a grandparent, grandmama, granddaddy love. That's a different love. That's a whole different thing. Kids know that. They don't have to look for love with us. They don't. But if they got to look for love with y'all, with their mama and their daddy, that's a different kind of hurt. That's a different level. And y'all might not even think y'all are doing anything. Y'all might not even think that the things that y'all might not even think that that's neglect or that y'all doing anything wrong. You might think that I'm here and my mama here and my daddy here and they take care and they doing. But that's not what your baby see. Your baby sees that you don't want to be around them. You don't want to hang out with them. Your baby sees that I see you for a couple of hours and then I'm with grandmama and granddaddy.
Mm-hmm.
Your baby sees the back of your head because it's always down in your phone. Instead of over here playing and hanging out with me and changing the diapers that I'm changing. I'm a kid. I don't want to change no diapers. It's different. It's different. So we're going to close this out. We was going to do an hour, but an hour and a half. It's a long topic. You know, it's a lot to unpack.
That's it.
Grandparents, put that foot down.
Yep.
Tell them no. And tell them don't ask me why no. Don't ask me what I'm doing. Don't ask me what I can change. Don't ask me why I said no. I said no. It don't matter why I said no. I said no and I meant no.
Mm-hmm.
Put that foot down, grandparents. Especially if you tired of both of them, the mama and the dad. I'm sick of both of y'all.
All right, guys, we're going to close this out. Thank y'all for watching. Hit that like button, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. Every time we drop a video, you don't miss it. Make sure you share our videos with your family and friends. Help our subscriber count go up. Y'all can help us out by doing that. Also, check out our store. We done added a store to the whole thing. And
hey, y'all.
That's all I gotta say on that. Make sure you check out our store. We got some slide-ons. All right, this is DC KOOLAID and
Lisa.
And we are out. Peace
Bye,
out.
y'all.
Flame, I just switched the lanes. Damn, he did it again. I just flipped the pain. Stripping and dipping in bass, slab on everything. Soon as you sinking away, cause I got big racks coming. I put my low racks on it. I ain't skip past losses, I had to get back off it. See the fit lab on it until they whip my coffee. Money clip I tossed that I heard is big bags on big bags on big bags coming. Coming in, yeah, flex. I just wanna win. Yeah. LA baby, who we running with? Yeah. 2, 2, 3, 3, I'm on 10 again. Pump up the action. Bitch, I'm active. If he never heard of Ben Dope, he just napping. Jackson's off the rapping. Keep it on my body, bitch. I'm broke if you asking. Yo, gotta send them Cialis for all this broken wrist longer than this foreign. Heard you want it cause the yams enormous. What's an ass? She is a gorgeous. Live my life last name, a Morgan Freeman. Trying to touch a forest. Do not know we're knocking on the door. This came in, I came in, I came in. Did it like the Porsche's coming in. Yeah, flex. I just wanna win. Yeah, LA baby, who we running with? Yeah, 2, 2, 3, 3, I'm on 10 again. Okay, alright. Coming in, yeah, flex. I just wanna win, yeah. LA baby, who we running with? Yeah, 2, 2, 3, 3, I'm on 10, 10, 10, yeah.